Happy New Year!
Happy New Year!
Apologies for the absence for the last 6 months. It has been a long break and we have missed you terribly. But master's degree and death got in the way. Not our death.
Yeah, no,
but
no,
our master's degree.
Yeah, your master's degree, not ours.
You made me right.
I did, occasionally, I guess. But it has actually been exactly 6 months to the day when we recorded our last one, which is a bit strange. We didn't plan it that way.
Nah, it's a bit weird. But to quote the eminent poet Slim Shady, guess who's back? Back again.
Yes.
Never sounded more white ridiculous.
But I just want to say thank you, however, for listening to us while we've been away, because we have reached almost 1,000 listeners mark
Woot woot.
by not doing anything since the 11th of June.
I wish I could normally have that level of productivity by doing nothing, if I'm honest. So,
To be fair.
here we are at the start of a new decade, and we thought we'd come back with a quick roundup of the last 10 years. We've definitely forgotten something of import, and we apologise now for that. So let us know if you did miss something huge. If we did miss something huge even, not you, us, we missed it. Our bad. I'm not really sure if we still know how to do this. What do you think?
I mean, were we even really pros in the first place?
I'd say we were gifted amateurs.
Amateurs, yeah. I'm probably...
Yeah. Probably not so much the gifted part, but amateurs definitely.
Yeah, 100%.
So, we're going to give it a go. And as our ridiculous death will show you, we are going to start the Deathcade off with a bang. So, let's get historical. Really more enthusiasm than I felt.
Sorry, it's the tea and the massive, massive coffee I made you.
Yeah, it is a big coffee. Right, so, last decade. What happened with you in the last decade?
Well, if we're going to talk, obviously, it's from 2010 to now.
Mm-hmm.
2010 was the year that you and I graduated.
Yes.
We graduated university.
Whoop,
I with a Bachelor of Science in Forensic and Investigative Studies.
And me with a Bachelor of Arts in Music and Professional Practice.
Both with honours. That just means we wrote a dissertation.
We write stuff.
Not good, but we write stuff.
We write average stuff.
In 2012, I moved to Canada to be a nanny for some time, and I met the amazing family who I still talk to regularly.
Hi guys. If you're listening.
Yeah. 2014, I poached you.
Yep.
From Birmingham to come down to Norfolk to live with me.
God, it's been 6 years. 6 years at the end of this month.
Mm-hmm. And then I met a boy who I got engaged to in 2015.
Interesting use of the word boy, not man.
Yeah, well, you know Ben.
I do.
And then 2017, I got married.
Would.
Yeah. Yeah, 2019, like we said, was quite a hard year. I lost my dream job as a journalist, and I lost my best friend and my nan.
Pretty close to each other.
Yeah, 8 days apart.
Yeah.
But my baby sister graduated university
Woo.
with a degree in musical theatre, and my other sister is still alive.
It's a good start.
She's kept it. Mary keeping herself alive for 25 years is quite an achievement.
Yeah.
So we'll give that one to her. But yeah, I don't think there's going to be another decade that's going to change me as much as this one.
I kind of, in a way, I hope not, because of the negative changes, but in a way, I kind of hope, yes, that you change and go from strength to strength.
Yeah, but there's never going to be another decade where I'll graduate, where I'll move out, where I'll get married.
Yeah.
This decade has been pretty full on.
This is pretty true. I mean, I moved cross county.
Yep.
Cross country even, into a different county. I did and finished a master's degree.
Yeah,
I finished
you did.
it. I'm now an MA. I just got to graduate. In classics, no less. I mean, how pretentious is that? And I also, obviously, unfortunately, I lost my father to Alzheimer's just over a year ago now, and my cousin in the same year, and my cat. In no way comparable. I just felt like I needed that.
Is this the way you were like, my father, my cousin, my cat?
That cat was 22 years old, man. That cat had been a large chunk of my life.
Devil.
And took a large chunk of your shoulder.
She did.
She didn't. It was
She was
tiny,
a devil
tiny
cat.
scratch.
Devil cat.
So, that's us in the last decade. I'm sure. Oh, yeah. Oh, I've had books published as well.
Oh, yeah, you
Yes,
have.
I've published books. I forgot about them. How could I forget about
too.
them? That took me, like, years to write. So, yeah, it's not been totally awful.
No.
And I'm still here with you 6 years on.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Our friendship did the 10 years.
It has indeed. That means we're stuck together for life.
Apparently so.
Pretty much sisters.
No.
Nah. Right, so, shall we get on to history, the real reason the peeps are here?
Yeah, the actual decade in the world.
I'm never using that word again.
We're, we've kind of got some categories.
You've made lists.
I have made lists. We've tried to surmise the last 10 years in presidents, prime ministers, disasters, anniversaries, space,
deaths,
technologies, the Times Magazine Person of the Year.
Although sometimes we do question it.
Yeah. Notable events, music, best-selling singles, and discoveries. So we've tried to round up the last 10 years in these. Like Carrie said at the beginning, there are going to be things that we forget. We have tried to use the internet as much as possible, our own memories, because we thought of things that we have remembered, there'll be reasons for that. So the good, the bad, and the ugly is all going to be spoken about with as much humour and... what's the word I'm looking for?
Humour and...
where
wit.
Needed, there will also
Gravitas.
be, yeah. That's the word, look at you.
Yeah, I know. I word good.
Yeah.
Right, we've gone for about 10 per category.
Yeah, some more.
The exceptions being presidents and deaths, because presidents, there's been 2. Deaths, there was 2016, so let's...
the great culling of 2016.
Oh, that was devastating. Right, so let's begin. Let's start at the start.
So we're going to do... We spoke about whether we were going to do them as in per year or per category. And we chose to do it per category.
Because sometimes a lot of things happened in a year, and then other times there wasn't anything really in a year so much.
So we'll start at the beginning. We have with presidents of the United States. There's only been 2, like you said. From 2009, obviously isn't in this decade, but his tenure ended in 2017, and that was obviously Mr. Barack Obama.
Absolute legend. Barack Obama, you will always have a place in our hearts. You absolute legend.
Definitely. I would follow that man into battle. Well, when you hear him speak, it's like you listen to every word and you know that he means every word.
Yeah.
And like you're enamoured by it.
He's intelligent, he's articulate, he's a good man.
Yeah. 2017 until present, Donald Trump.
Right, prime ministers. I don't really... Honestly, you know that old adage, if you don't have a nice thing to say, don't say anything?
Very true. My nan loved him.
Yeah.
I mean, very strange.
I'll give him his dues. He's a good businessman.
Yeah.
And he's done disturbing, albeit remarkable things, initiating and going ahead with talks with North Korea.
Yeah.
I say disturbing because it's essentially a lunatic talking to a lunatic.
Yeah. That isn't going to go well. But one of the things my nan did like about him, which I'm not sure if I like it about him, but you have to say, he has done what he said he was going to do.
Yeah, you can't really fault him for that. I mean, what he said has been absolute codswallop for the most part.
Yeah.
But yeah, he does what he says he does, so he has the courage of his convictions, unfortunately.
Yeah.
So, yeah, and we still don't know who's paying for that wall.
But from one extreme to the other with Barack Obama and Donald Trump, really.
Yeah, it's like that little pendulum swing has just gone whew the other way.
Yes.
So
they've only had the 2 presidents in the United States in the 10 years. Slightly different for us here in the UK, for us Brits. We've had 4 prime ministers. The beginning of the decade obviously saw the Labour Party in power. Gordon Brown took over from Tony Blair in 2010. But then he lost it that same year.
And that was to the Lib Dem and Tory coalition government, wasn't it?
No, that was just the Tories. That was just David Cameron.
Didn't
the Lib Dem was the next one. Was his 3rd year, wasn't it?
No, I thought it was Nick Clegg, and because I remember...
I thought David Cameron did 3 years, and then it was David Cameron and Nick Clegg.
No, it was David Cameron and Nick Clegg, then just David Cameron.
Oh.
Because there was a lot of issues with the Lib Dems promising about scrapping student fees, and then they didn't. And that's why a lot of people of our generation don't vote Lib Dem, because it's like #neverforget.
Oh, right, okay. Well, we both... So, anyway, between 2010 and 2016 was David Cameron was in power.
Yeah.
Who's obviously Conservative. Then he, after the whole Brexit debacle, which we'll get onto later on, he was a Remainer, and so when England, or Great Britain, voted to leave, he didn't feel that he was the person who should stay to lead that, because he didn't believe in it. So he stepped down, and Theresa May was voted in, and she was in power from 2016 to 2019.
Tumultuous at best.
Yep, and then she resigned. And Boris Johnson was voted in by the other members of Parliament, and then voted in again by ourselves in December 12, 2019. So that is where we are at present, a Conservative majority government in power leading the United Kingdom.
So we've got one blonde weirdo who speaks before thinking, and another blonde weirdo that thinks before speaking, running two of the most powerful countries in the world.
Yep.
Interesting times we live in.
Yep.
But Boris Johnson is clever, I'll give him that. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So the next one, I guess, may be fitting. We're going in, we don't know yet, is disasters.
You say maybe fitting and then point to me for disasters.
Not meant for you. No one can see that I pointed at you.
I saw it. To be fair, I am a disaster, it's true. Right, so, going all the way back to the start of the decade, quite literally, actually, genuinely quite literally, 10 years ago today, the 12th of January 2010, there was a 7 on the Richter scale magnitude earthquake that devastated Haiti, and that killed more than 230,000 people. And as much as they try, they are still recovering from it now.
Yeah.
The knock-on effect was terrible. Then flash forward to March 2014, we had the Malaysia airline plane that went missing.
Yeah.
Yeah, it took a while for them to actually realise, to actually find any evidence about it. I just remember it being on the news, because I'd not long moved down here, and I remember it being on the news. And it was just, the plane had gone missing, there was no sign of it, no nothing. And it was just a massive mystery.
But hasn't something very recently been found?
Yeah, it's about, it's more or less 7 years now.
Yeah.
They found bits of debris from it.
But I was just saying, I think I read, I'm just going to quickly have a look. I think I read that it's something was found, and it's pointing towards, all the 283 passengers and 15 crew were killed. Mm-hmm. But it came out, it was in 2018, it came out that they found something in the ocean that points to the pilot crashed into the ocean on purpose.
Oh.
They don't know why. I mean, I know sometimes terrorist organisations do try and claim that they were the perpetrators or they orchestrated it.
But there hasn't been a terrorist organisation that's come forward about that.
No.
So that's interesting.
Yeah, there was all. I think when I was researching for this, I read that it was it's come out that the pilot crashed it on purpose, but that's it.
Yeah, they probably will try and claim it now.
Possibly.
But yeah, no, that's it. That's interesting. We'll have to keep an eye on that.
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
In January 2018, which I told you about this and you didn't know, you hadn't heard.
Yeah.
But at the beginning of January, there was a fake missile warning sent to more than 1 million people in Hawaii, and it was like I think it was with people who had iPhones. There was like a mass message sent, basically saying that a missile is on the way. It's going to destroy Hawaii. You need to evacuate. And it came from but it was like a test that was fake and it shouldn't have been sent out. But yeah, that caused quite a bit of hysteria and a panic.
I can imagine.
Yeah, imagine waking up to looking at your phone saying there's going to be a missile coming you're going to die, run.
The thing is, what if you've been at work or something and you couldn't have your phone there, and then you turned your phone on at lunchtime, just like, oh man.
Be like, oh.
Is that awkward?
Yeah, just a bit.
I wondered why the cafeteria was empty. And then 2012, we had Hurricane Sandy, which devastated the northeast coast of America, and particularly New Jersey and New York. Because you don't normally, when you think of hurricanes, you think of like Florida, place like that. You don't normally think New York.
No, it was the deadliest and most destructive hurricane that they've had in 2012 during that hurricane season, and made nearly $70 billion worth of damages.
Gosh.
Yeah, it was from the 22nd of October.
Gosh, wow.
2012 to the 2nd of November.
I remember all the news stories. And then we had more hurricanes in 2017. We had Hurricane Harvey, Irma and Maria in the space of 5 weeks.
Yeah, that was along the Floridian coast and up that way, yeah.
Absolutely battered.
Yeah, no let up really.
No. I've got a cousin that lives out in Florida, and I remember her messaging going, I'm okay, before you ask, I'm fine, just a bit breezy. It's like, yeah, way to underplay it.
I also think during one of those times, for one day, Disney World closed.
Mhm.
And I think it's only the third time Disney World has ever closed. And I think one of them was 9/11.
There was that one, and then Disneyland Paris closed after the Je suis Charlie incident.
Mhm. But I also think Disney World also closed. It closed for another reason.
We'll have to Google that.
9/11, the hurricanes, and I want to say the Orlando shootings.
It might have been, actually. It might have been.
But yeah.
Speaking of shootings and things like that, we're going to turn slightly. The 15th of April 2013, we had the Boston Marathon bombings.
Yep.
Which it didn't occur just right at the very end, like near the finish line.
Yeah.
So that was a shock. Obviously, with things like this, nobody sees it coming, but that was genuinely a shock because it was televised, wasn't it?
Yeah.
And obviously that had a massive impact.
There was 2 homemade pressure cooker bombs
Mm-hmm.
that detonated 210 yards apart and 14 seconds near the finishing line. It killed 3 people,
Mm-hmm.
injured several hundred others, and 16 people lost limbs.
Jesus.
But yeah, and that was one that terrorist organisations claimed.
And then on the 13th of November 2015, you had the terror attacks across Paris where there was, I think it was 131 people were killed and 400 were injured.
Yep.
So that was, again, it's one of those things where you just remember where you were when you saw about it.
Yeah.
And then we had the London Bridge attack on the 3rd of June 2017.
Yeah, that was when someone rode a van through on pathways.
Yeah, through London Bridge. And then wasn't there the police officer that was stabbed and wounded outside Parliament?
Mm-hmm.
And one of the politicians actually tried to help him.
Mm-hmm.
That was yeah.
A politician's doing something nice.
But unfortunately, he couldn't save him.
No.
Unfortunately, but
Big respect for our armed forces for things like this.
armed forces, police, all the emergency services and armed forces, massively. You guys show how wonderful you are in moments like that. You shouldn't have to,
No.
but you do, and we are grateful for that.
Yeah, and these next 2 kind of also bring up, I guess, I wouldn't say you got the pros and cons list, but this is definitely towards
This is the darker
America
side.
needing to rethink their gun laws.
Oh God, do that.
On the 12th of June 2016, there was the Orlando nightclub shootings, which is what I touched about slightly with regards earlier to Disneyland closing. And then on the 12th of the 12th, 2012, the Sandy Hook Elementary School shootings, where a number of children and teachers were shot.
I mean, school can be a traumatic time anyway for some people, but it shouldn't have to be a place where you are mortally afraid.
Yeah.
You shouldn't have to go into school thinking at any day someone could come in legally with a gun and shoot the place up and you could die.
Yep, I've just seen that was a typo on my part. It wasn't the 12th, it was the 14th of December.
Oh, right, okay.
And it was when 20-year-old Adam Lanza shot and killed 26 people, 20 children, and 6 adult members of staff.
It's just, I mean, it was shocking how many school shootings there have been. And it seems like you're constantly hearing about them on the news. Constantly.
I think one of the first ones was the Columbine school massacre in 99, because I wrote a lot about that in my, we learned about that during our dissertation, when I was writing my dissertation for university, where you had to watch when different children use different forms of social media and TV shows, games, things like that, to orchestrate doing killings and things. So that was one of the very first times that a school was, I don't know what the word would be, was someone went into a school and shot and killed people.
First time it was on that. I mean, it's always devastating, on that level. I mean, just having a quick look online through the CNN website, in the last 10 years there's been 180 school shootings and 356 victims. And yet, it's still a deprivation of liberties to stop gun laws. I don't get that.
Nope. But there's obviously people who want their guns. It's obviously one of their rights to bear arms. It's the Fifth Amendment, isn't it? Is it the Fifth?
No, fifth is the right to remain silent, I think.
Well, one of
I
the
think
amendments
it's the Second
is
Amendment.
one of the amendments they can right to bear arms, which obviously the more people who have arms, the more people will want them to defend themselves. So it's like a vicious cycle, really.
It really is. I think they need stricter controls in, because you've got, I mean, we have strict controls, and yeah, there are still people that will get a gun and go on a rampage, but it's happened a lot less. And then you hear about it in places like when they had the shootings in Norway, and it's like a once in a lifetime thing.
Yeah.
So, America, tighten your game up, guys.
Think about it.
Yeah. Right, from human back to
natural.
Back to natural. In 2011, we had the earthquake and the tsunami in Japan.
Yeah, which followed the Fukushima.
Yeah, the meltdown in the Fukushima plant, because the earthquake damaged their water tanks, their cooling tanks, and then you had the massive flooding of seawater that then just rapidly cooled everything down, and it just basically all went to hell in a handcart, and then you had a Fukushima meltdown.
Yeah, because, if you had an earthquake or tsunami, of course you want to have another issue.
And apparently the radiation was 14,000 times worse than the Hiroshima atom bomb.
But didn't you say earlier that there was only one...
Only one confirmed death, and that was cancer as a result of radiation.
Yep.
So, I mean, they kind of got off lightly. They got off better than Chernobyl, mainly because they knew what they were doing.
Yep. To go back to another one, we got...
I do love Russia, I'm just saying, and the Ukraine. Beautiful places, beautiful.
This last year, in 2019, has been quite a one for drought, and obviously this would then lead to fire.
Mm-hmm.
In the summer of 2019, we had the Amazon rainforest fires in Brazil, and then later on, starting obviously October, November, and still continuing now, the Australian bushfires.
Yeah, all along the southeast coast of Australia, particularly like Victoria, areas like that.
Yeah, and the part destroyed is bigger than the size of South Korea.
Yeah, and millions of wildlife species just...
Isn't it I thought it was like 500 million.
Yeah, 500 million animals wiped out. One of the worst photos I saw of that, and not to discount the human cost and the human effort that's going into it, but one of the worst photos I saw was just basically the best way I can put it, and it's going to sound comedic, but it's the best way I can describe it, a crispy kangaroo.
Oh, right, yeah.
Yeah, it was just a kangaroo that had hung onto a fence, and it had just basically been blasted with the heat of the fire, and it was just a husk.
I'd seen those, and it's fields of cows.
Yeah.
But the same.
Yeah, you can't fathom it, but the fact that the heat is still ongoing, but there are parts of it now that have got rain.
Yes.
So hopefully that carries on.
Yeah.
Hopefully.
More rain, all of the rain.
All of the rain.
Then going back on the 14th of June 2017, we had the Grenfell Tower fire.
Yeah.
In London.
That was a sadly an avoidable tragedy.
Definitely, people cut corners.
Yeah.
Builders, things were done on the cheap, and it was devastating. I don't know. I've driven past Grenfell in 2018, the year after, and it's still standing. It's haunting.
Yeah, I haven't seen it, but I work in the social housing sector, and we're feeling the repercussions of it because of the work that has to be done to make sure that houses and flats particularly now meet certain standards.
Which is good, to be fair.
It is good.
But the fact that had to happen for the government and for people to stand up and be accountable. Yeah,
entire families, family units were wiped out.
Yeah.
In order to prompt that.
Mm-hmm.
But, yeah.
Going back to something slightly more light-hearted in a way, from the 5th of August 2010 to the 13th of October 2010, so 69 days... the Chilean miners, do you remember that was a massive thing?
I remember that, yeah.
Chilean miners were trapped, and all of them were saved, every single one. I remember how amazing it was just seeing the miners one at a time just coming up out of the ground.
I do remember reading that I think it was David Cameron got presented with a piece of rock from from where the Chilean miners were, and I'm like, did he rescue them? Why have they given him a rock? But yeah, it's just watching them one by one get lifted out, and just the look of joy on their faces when they saw their families was that was incredible. And then you had in 2018, so from the 23rd of June to the 10th of July 2018, you had the Taiwanese football team that were trapped in a cave.
Yep.
And they got rescued as well. Unfortunately, one of the cave divers did lose his life doing that, but there was such incredible work done to get from across the globe. I mean, we had British people out there as well to help these kids and their coach just to get out of that cave.
Yep. And then this is the kind of last disaster that we have noted. Was on the 15th of April 2019, was the fire at Notre Dame.
Yeah.
Which was...
That was... I mean, it's nothing in comparison to like the Amazon and the Australian fires.
Oh, no.
But from a historical point of view, it was devastating.
Yeah.
Just... Because it was restoration, they were doing restoration work on it, and some of the chemicals caught fire, didn't they?
Mm-hmm.
And there's nothing stopping a chemical fire. And I just remember sitting there in shock and feeling sick as one of the spires went down. I just thought, no, absolutely not, no. But they managed to save it before the rose window went. They lost a couple of rose windows, but not the one. And also they managed to save King Louis's chapel.
Yeah, that's a big deal.
Yeah, because they've got
from the historical point of view,
because they've got the tunic that he actually wore on his pilgrimages there. So, good work, guys. Like, really good work.
Mm-hmm. So there are all the disasters that we noted over the last 10 years. There's obviously loads more that we could write down, but
we didn't want to go into too much detail. We didn't want to talk too much about the doom and gloom of everything, even though we have got the death section yet to come.
Yeah.
But a massive, massive thank you to all of the emergency services, the military, everyone that's helped out, and the decent human beings that have helped other humans and animals in everything that's happened. I mean, it's not until a disaster or a terrorist attack happens that you see the best of humanity. You see the worst of humanity, but you also see the best of it as well.
Yeah.
So, to everyone that's been affected, our hearts are with you, and to everyone that's helped, thank you.
Yeah, definitely. So now we go into our next category of anniversaries, like landmark anniversaries.
Yep.
And this one is...
awkward.
I find this kind of comical. The 21st of December 2012, the Mayan calendar said that the world would end.
I mean, it feels like it's ending
Lots
sometimes.
of people completely believed this.
Yeah.
Lots of people spent their life savings, sold their houses, totally expecting to go to bed on the 21st and not see the 22nd.
Yep.
It is now the 12th of January 2020.
I do remember tweeting the day after and be like, so the world didn't end then, #awkward. So, but to be fair, like, the world was supposed to have ended on the 6th of the 6th, 2006, because of 666.
Yeah.
Pretty much every couple of years, someone comes out and says the world's going to end. At some point, it will. But I don't think we're going to be too bothered by that point.
No. But that was probably the biggest one that a lot of people definitely thought that because the Mayan calendar said it was going to happen. I
mean, did the Mayan calendar predict the world would end, or did they just stop making them after the Spaniards killed them all off? Who knows?
Yep. June 2015, same-sex marriage became legal across the United States of America.
I mean, there were still some protests and people that didn't stick to it.
There still is. There still will be.
Yeah, I mean, there is in this country, and it's been legal for a while in this country as well.
Mm-hmm.
But, fair dues to America.
Well done. The 26th of the 3rd, 2015,
Wood.
From the historical point of view, Richard III was reburied.
Yep, he was found, dug up, examined, poked and prodded with a stick, and then given a massive state funeral.
Yep, in
Leicester Cathedral.
Not 100% sure I'm okay with that. Personally, I think he should have been in York.
Yeah, but I agree. It's what he would have wanted.
Yep, he was the son of York, he should have been in York. But
I get it.
Yeah.
Well, actually, no, he was a king. It should have been Westminster Abbey.
He was a king.
Yeah. But,
But not every king is in Westminster Abbey.
No,
or queen
this is
or
true.
monarch.
This is very true. We had on the 11th of the 11th, 2018, 100 years since the end of World War One.
Yeah, and that was celebrated quite wildly, worldly.
Yep, quite widely, and we actually did a commemorative podcast for it, didn't we?
Yes, we did.
So yeah, because we had Ian guest star.
We did.
Good old Ian. Hi Ian. Yeah, that was marked by a lot of there was a lot of obviously remembrance services and things, but then you had the torches, didn't you? That were all around, and that was quite a moment. And as the torches were lit, all the church bells in the area rang out at the same time, and that was a poignant moment.
Yeah, definitely. Another 100 years was on the 21st of the 11th, 2018. It was 100 years since a few women were given the right to vote. And that was obviously 30-year-old women were given. So we were all right, because we're over 30.
Would.
So it was cool. But yeah, it was 100 years since women were given the right to vote.
Yeah, I don't think it was it 2019 or was it later than 2019 when it got expanded to everybody? I can't remember off the top of my head. I shall find that out. I am determined to find that out. And then on the 20th of July 2019, it was 50 years since man first walked on the moon, taking that small step for man, one giant leap for mankind.
Yep, and what I think is really good is I didn't know until, it's quite, maybe just because I'm quite, I don't want to say ignorant is the word, but I always thought it was Neil Armstrong. That was it. But I think since then, Buzz Aldrin and, it's really, I've just shown myself up, the other guy.
Buzz Aldrin and the other guy, yeah.
Yep, have become more famous. I want to say something Collins.
It was Neil Armstrong, Buzz Aldrin and Michael Collins.
Oh, it was Collins.
You were right, well done.
I was, see, obviously true. Then on the 3rd of June 2012 was the Queen's Diamond Jubilee.
And that made her the longest reigning monarch, didn't it?
It did. That following September, she became the longest reigning monarch by, well, obviously in September it was by like a day, but now she's overgone that by, 5 years now?
About that, yeah, because the record previously was Queen Victoria for 64 years.
Obviously, she's surpassed that now by almost another 5 years this year.
Still going strong.
She is.
The woman does not
Madge.
give up.
She does not.
Proud of you.
Yep.
For what that's worth, Your Majesty. Apologies. It was also when we had the London Olympics as well, which I think we're talking about that later.
Yep.
And it was someone else's anniversary. It was... Well, we'll get to that one in a minute as well, because we've got that later on down, and I cannot see it on the list. On the 26th of April 2016, it was 30 years since the Chernobyl incident. Chernobyl, whichever way you say it.
Yep. On the 28th of June 2019 was 100 years since the signing of the Treaty of Versailles.
Yep, and on the 9th, from one World War to another one, on the 9th of November 2019, it was 30 years since the Berlin Wall came down.
I still find that really strange that we were alive at one point when the Berlin Wall was standing.
It's weird. I mean, we were 9 months old. No, we were 11 months old.
Yeah, I was.
Maths, Carrie, maths.
I was almost like 1.
Yeah, because we're born a week apart. So yeah, we were both nearly 1 year old, and the wall was still standing.
Weird.
And I've got a piece of the Berlin Wall because it.
Me too. So, Ian bought me a piece.
Ian got you a piece, and my brother went to Berlin and got both me and my dad a piece, because Dad was born in 1961 when the wall went up, and I was born in 1969 when it came down.
1989 when the wall came down.
That's the one.
Yeah.
This
is going so well. Like, we completely... I'm still not 100% sure we know what we're doing, but we're going strong.
I'd like to think it was endearing. In 2019, we don't know the exact date, but it's 650 years since Joan of Navarre, one of the wives of Henry IV, was imprisoned for witchcraft and plotting against her stepson, Henry V, who previous to that she had a pretty good relationship with, but they accused her of using witchcraft to try and poison him, which, would really put a dampener on any relationship.
Yeah, I'm not sure anyone particularly would be happy with regards to, plotting to kill.
I mean, she was released afterwards when he died of dysentery, but...
Yeah.
Spoilers.
Yep.
Yep.
And then, this is our last anniversary, which I think is quite fitting.
So, yay, and oh.
Yep, on the 23rd of April 2016, was 400 years since Shakespeare died. Which, coincidentally, was 452 years since he was born.
Yay!
Because he was born and he died on the same day.
Happy birthday to Shakespeare. Happy birthday to Shakespeare.
In April, Carrie, we're only in January.
I know that. I was just singing.
Cool. Right, on to our next category.
Space. The final frontier.
Sorry.
What?
People.
Oh, you're apologising. Yeah, I'm sorry. We said it was the time of the nerd. I'm not going to deny a Star Trek reference to space. So, in August 2017, we had the total solar eclipse.
That was pretty sick.
A total eclipse of the heart. I really don't know what's got into me.
I don't know what's gotten into
What
you
did you
either.
put in that coffee?
Coffee.
Okay, that'll do it.
Last year was pretty awesome. On the 10th of April 2019, we got the first ever picture of a black hole.
That was pretty cool. And it's actually been quite an experience because it was a woman that took the picture.
Yay!
And it was a team at MIT that all got it together, but it's one person that's particularly been credited with it. So I'm just trying to get her name now. I'm just sort of filling in. It was Kate Bauman and the EHT team at MIT, and they're called the EHT because of the telescope they use, which is the Event Horizon Telescope. And it was a black hole that was 55 million light years away in a galaxy called M87.
Cool, that's far, isn't it?
So it's a long, long time ago in a galaxy far, far away.
Hey! You got Star Trek and Star Wars in!
Nerding it
And
up.
we're only the second space one in, Carrie. I'm proud of you.
You could say I'm a space oddity. David Bowie.
And there's 3. So,
I sense the judgment.
there's no judgment, Carrie. Just read the next one.
Next was, in 2014, we had the Rosetta Comet mission.
We did. And in 2011, we had the first photographic evidence of water on Mars.
Which supports the theory that there was once life on Mars.
It does.
And they've actually found evidence of microbial life as well.
That's pretty sick.
Yeah. On the 8th of July 2011, the Space Shuttle program ended. All good things must come to an end.
They must, as in the next one. On the 13th of February 2019, the Mars Opportunity rover died, sending out a message stating, "My battery is low and it's getting dark."
Just the outpouring of social media grief over a robot with that, it was...
That's horrible. That's devastating.
I mean, that, as far as last words go, I mean, that robot has nailed it.
Hasn't it though?
Yeah.
I'll have to think of my last words to try and beat a robot.
I mean, Henry VIII, monks, a robot. My battery's dying and it's getting dark. Oh, this is devastating.
Right.
But, and then we go to July 2015, where Earth's older cousin, planet Kepler 452b, found, and it's 60% larger in diameter than the Earth, and the temperature is similar to our planet. So it could potentially be a habitable planet.
Possibly.
Called Kepler. What would you call... Because, we're humans from planet Earth. So we're Terrarians. Because, terra firma, Earth. What would we be called there? Keplarians? Keplans? I don't know. I shall think on this.
Enjoy.
Thank you.
In July 2015, we got the first picture of the surface of Pluto.
Which is still a planet, irrespective of what anybody says.
I think Pluto is definitely a
I mean,
planet.
it's still a dwarf planet. It's still got the word planet in it.
In it.
On the 4th of June 2016, scientists proved that they have a sense of humour because the probe / telescope / photographic robot thing called Juno went to Jupiter. Now, anyone that knows their Roman and Greek mythology, Juno was the wife of Jupiter, and all the moons around Jupiter are named after his mistresses. So, Jupiter's wife went to Jupiter, surrounded by all his women. Unlucky.
Yep. And then in 2019, there was a planet or object that was 10 times the size of Earth, was found orbiting the outer solar system, called Planet 9.
Planet number 9.
Quite ominous, really.
Yeah, it is, to be fair. I mean, they could have thought of a nice name for it, like Planet Unicorn.
Planet Unicorn.
I'm just spitballing here.
Right, well, the next category we have, should we leave to last?
Yeah, we'll do that one last.
Cool, so the next one, technology. Technology. Technology.
Oh, I'm glad I wasn't just the only loser that time.
On the 27th of January 2010, Apple unveils the first iPad tablet computer. Which is strange, I feel, because it's like, you kind of think that iPads have been around forever, but it's only been the last almost 10 years.
Yeah, it's been crazy. But it's only been the last, 2 years that I've actually owned a tablet.
Yeah, true.
Weird. And then on in February 2015, Apple also released racially diverse emojis.
You're the first ones to do it.
Yep. So it wasn't just the yellow smiley face, it was everybody.
Yep, everybody. In October 2016, Vine, the application, closed down, which is obviously basically TikTok now.
Yeah, it's...
From 2019, TikTok has taken over. But yeah, that closed down in 2016.
And in 2010, we had the first quantum machine. It's pretty cool.
Isn't it?
Although, to be honest with you, quantum mechanics, quantum physics, anything with the word quantum in escapes me. I've tried. I had Brian Cox explain, not personally, I don't know him, I wish I did. I really wish I did, he's awesome. Brian Cox explaining quantum mechanics, and I almost understood it for about 5 seconds, and then I didn't.
Cool story, Carrie, thanks.
You're welcome.
In 2011, HIV treatment was now a prevention rather than a cure, because it is.
Yeah.
It's cured, so it's prevention now, which is awesome.
Brilliant. And we had cancer immunotherapy in 2013.
Advances in medicine.
Just mind-blowing.
Especially this one.
Mm-hmm.
In 2016, there was the first ever 3-parent baby. It had the father's sperm, a mother's nucleus, and then another egg with no nucleus. So they put one mother's nucleus inside another mother's egg, and then fertilised that egg with the sperm. So a 3-parent baby.
So if the egg couldn't be penetrated by the sperm, they've got the mother's DNA, but in a different egg that could then be penetrated by the sperm. So clever.
Isn't it, though?
And then in 2013, the University of Maastricht in Holland grew a hamburger in a jar, like a petri dish, that consisted of a total of 20,000 strips of cow muscle tissue and cost a whopping $325,000.
Wagyu beef. Ain't got nothing on that, has it? Jesus.
I mean, there's an expensive cow.
Yep. In 2019, scientists created the first synthetic DNA. So they can use that sort of stuff for different operations. They can use it for, heart valves and stuff like that.
And for also understanding mortality. Because it's the telomeres at the end of your stranded DNA that is one of the reasons for mortality.
Crap.
That and the fact that oxygen is slowly poisoning us.
We can live forever.
Potentially.
Who wants to live forever?
That is a philosophical question. And then in 2017, there was new gene therapy for blind people called Leber congenital amaurosis, which could potentially stop congenital blindness, so blindness from birth. However, it would only work if you had $420,000 per eye to spend.
Oh.
So nearly $1 million for the full surgery for both eyes.
Dude.
Yeah, I'd still be blind.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Okay, this one will be quite a quick category.
Okay.
We've just got the Times Person of the Year.
Okay.
So obviously Times Magazine in America, they name one person, sometimes more, to be their Person of the Year.
Yeah.
So we've got them as a rundown. Do one at a time?
Yeah, can do.
Cool, so 2010 they had Facebook creator Mark Zuckerberg.
In 2011, The Protester.
2012, Barack Obama.
2013, Pope Francis.
2014, the Ebola fighters.
2015, Angela Merkel.
2016, Donald Trump.
2017, the silence breakers from the #MeToo movement.
2018, the Guardians.
And 2019, Greta Thunberg.
I don't know if I agree completely with all of those, but I don't know the criteria that the Times magazine uses to get their People of the Year.
Very true, very true. So from Times Person of the Year to notable events.
Yeah, these are things that we didn't necessarily have a specific category for, but things that we think happened that were caused quite a stir or quite notable in the world.
Worth mentioning.
Yeah.
Such as September 2010's Lady Gaga's meat dress. Yeah.
A dress of meat.
Because, why not?
It's Lady Gaga. I don't think she actually really needs a...
Yeah, that's true.
Cool. And then on the 29th of April 2011, Kate Middleton married Prince William.
Which, to be fair, considering the trend at the time in 2011 was planking, why did Harry not plank at their wedding?
We don't know, he might have done.
He probably did.
There are photos we have yet to see.
This is very true.
Photos we may never see.
This is true. This is Harry, he probably did.
Probably.
And in... I'm sorry.
What?
There's a typo. I'm going to explain. I'm going to say it seriously first, and I'm going to say it how it's spelled.
Okay, no, I'm changing it before
On the
you can.
15th of July 2011, the last Harry Potter book, or in this case, Harry Potter book, was released. Considering the one who wrote this is a massive Harry Potter fan.
Shut up. I was tired, okay? I mean, and I was emotionally distressed. I was really hurt. Like, when this book came out, I was in Florida. I stopped my family going to Disney World that day, and I made them go and... I went out to Walmart at like 7 o'clock in the morning, because I was already pissed off that the UK already had 6 hours on me, because we're obviously 6 hours behind in Florida. So there's people in the world, probably you, who had the Harry Potter book before me, who probably had finished it before I'd even got the chance to buy it. So I then spent that whole day, my family were in the villa, and I was sat reading Harry Potter and the Deathly Hallows.
If it makes you feel any better, I didn't actually get to read it until 2 days later because my mum and my brother read it first.
Yeah?
So, yeah, they had a day each and I read it. I read Harry Potter a couple of days later.
You're an arsehole.
Yep. Right, in July to August 2014, we had the Ice Bucket Challenge to raise money for ALS.
Yep, we did it.
We did. Somewhere online there's evidence of that. And I was getting absolutely drenched in the back garden with freezing cold water because it seemed like a good idea at the time.
Yep,
But
but
in
we also
fairness-
donated.
Yeah, and it raised a hell of a lot of money.
And a lot of exposure of the illness.
Yeah, indeed. And then in February 2015, we had the whole debacle with the blue, black, white, gold dress.
It was blue-black.
I saw both. I saw white, gold and blue, black.
Why are you one of those weird people? But you're one of these people that's like, Marmite, not first. Well, it's either you love it or you hate it, but you're one of these, meh.
I mean, I could give or take it.
In February 2016, Leo finally got that Oscar.
Yes, he was king of the world.
For his... No, not for that one.
Oh.
For his portrayal of... in The Revenant.
Why did he not get it for Inception?
I don't know.
I mean, why? Academy. Why?
There's so many... so many movies he could have got it for. Like, Titanic. Inception. I'm pretty sure he was... for
What's
Beaches.
Eating Gilbert Grape?
What's Eating Gilbert Grape was one of the best things he's ever done, and he was like 15.
Yeah. Do you think he looks at his Oscar on a daily basis and just pinches himself and like, yep, it's real?
Maybe. But did you ever see The Revenant?
No, I haven't yet.
Oh, it's sick. You should watch it.
Is it really?
It's really good.
Good. Right, July 2016, children and gamers were, and by children and gamers we mean us as well, were encouraged to go outside with Pokemon Go.
Yep.
Which caused a lot of accidents, a lot of people staring at their phones, but it got kids outside.
And they did add a disclaimer, though, at the beginning. It was like, please look at your natural surroundings whilst playing Pokemon Go.
And please do not trespass. And please don't play it whilst you're driving.
Yep.
The fact that they had to add those, people.
Mm-hmm. In January 2017, millions of women attended a global women's march.
Yeah, partly that was in... It started off as a reaction to Donald Trump, didn't it?
Yeah.
Like women against Donald Trump, and then it kind of escalated. And then in October 2017, we had the hashtag #MeToo movement.
Yep, which is obviously, quick rundown, it's when women are coming together to say that they have been victims of sexual harassment, sexual abuse, within... It started off within, like, the entertainment industry, but then it's more just in general.
Yeah.
And people weren't saying if it happened to them or what happened, they just said hashtag #MeToo on social media.
And to be fair, it's not just women as well, because you've got the likes of Terry Crews that have come out and said that they were involved in it. So it's still sort of ticking along in the background.
It is, it's still there.
Yeah, so men, if it has happened to you, we encourage you to join the Me Too movement, because whilst women have been victimised for too long, we are aware we're not the only victims.
No.
In May, so the 19th of May 2018, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle got married, with the whole Anglo-American relations being cemented. that's a little bit rocky at the moment, but we shall
It's a
see.
little bit of a touchy subject here in the UK, Meghan and Harry's wedding, but that didn't happen in this last decade, so we shall move on.
Yeah, we'll see how that pans
Yep.
out.
July 2012 was the Olympics in London, which got a lot of people into sport, and
It was incredible. We wiped the board on the cycling.
we did so well, better than I think anybody anticipated, which is kind of, since then, the Olympics have been a big deal in the UK since then.
Massively.
But also it marked the third time for London to host the Olympics, which is the third time, it's the first time in history that a city has held it 3 times, not including, obviously,
Ancient
Athens.
Greece, yeah. But also it was the London Paralympics as well, and the birth of my favourite TV show, The Last Leg.
Proud of you.
Yeah, mate. And then on the 22nd of April 2016, we had the signing of the Paris Climate Accord, which Donald Trump is now trying to get America out of, I believe, or has got America out of.
He doesn't believe in global warming.
Yeah, I think Australia would disagree with that right now. And then one that was important, but not as important as some other things.
We just didn't. I didn't think it should have been in the disasters.
No.
Because I don't think it was a disaster.
In fairness, it could have been. It could have escalated, but luckily measures were put in place to stop it, and that was on the 26th of January 2018. There was severe flooding in Paris when the Seine broke its banks, and it closed, like 375 people were evacuated, and the Louvre Museum had to be closed, and measures put in place to protect some of the artwork down in the basements.
Yep.
So yeah, not a disaster. I mean, it could have been, but it wasn't.
No, they saved it.
Yeah.
Notable events. 2016. Brexit. Literally the only word we have written there.
Yeah, I think that's the only word we need. Whether you're British or not, you've heard of Brexit.
Everyone's heard of
Let's be
Brexit. Carrie and I are quite lucky. We are... One of us is Remain, one of us is Leave.
Mm-hmm.
We have quite good debates on it. I think we both voted for what we believed in.
Yeah.
And
Debates,
luckily...
though, not arguments.
No, and we've managed to, obviously... We can chat about it, and we haven't fell out. Like, Carrie doesn't think I'm a total racist, uneducated bigot for voting to leave. And I don't think that she is...
A stuck-up traditionalist for voting to stay.
No, which is what people have said online.
Yeah.
We are lucky enough to realise that we both have different points of view, and we're balanced. We don't hate the other person for thinking differently.
No.
And we don't hate other people for thinking differently either.
I mean, I can see the logic in your choice. It's not the choice I would make, but I can see the logic in it.
Same.
So,
Which is what, if more people could be like that, the better.
yeah, but that's not how it works.
But yeah, Brexit.
And then, July 2018. So close. Football almost came home.
It was the closest we have been, and probably will be since 66.
Gareth Southgate, you legend.
Yep. And
it got me interested in football.
Yep. A little known fact: we have a roundabout here in Kings Lynn called the Southgate Roundabout, which was renamed the Gareth Southgate Roundabout for the entirety of the World Cup.
Yeah, it was indeed. I just remember seeing that. I was like, as I drove around it.
Yeah.
But we did triumph in the Cricket World Cup on the 14th of July 2019.
Yay!
Won the World Cup, lost the Ashes. Let's not talk about that one.
Apparently, I don't really follow cricket. Apparently, the Ashes is better, but I still think it's going to be one of the World
Obviously,
Cup.
it's not a global tournament, but it's more important.
Okay.
Yeah.
On the 15th of June 2018,
Sadness.
Stephen Hawking was laid to rest in what is known as Scientist's Corner in Westminster Abbey.
Mm-hmm.
And he is between Isaac Newton and Charles Darwin, which I think is a very fitting and perfect place for him to be laid to rest.
Honestly, Stephen Hawking, thank you so much for all the work you did and all the knowledge you gave us. Incredible, beautiful mind. Beautiful mind. So, speaking of beautiful, we like music, we like musicals, we like Disney. Can't get much more beautiful than Frozen. And on the 8th of March 2014, Frozen spent 5 weeks at number 1 on the Billboard 200.
It did, and it has only recently surpassed itself with Frozen 2 as being the top-rated animated movie of all time.
I mean, in fairness, if you're going to be surpassed, surpass yourself.
Yeah, to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, if you're gonna... last notable event.
Speaking of surpassing.
Yep. On the 20th of July 2019, a certain film became the highest grossing movie of all time, beating Avatar. That is, of course, Avengers Endgame.
I can actually hear the music portals
Me
in my
too.
head right now.
I'm thinking Portals.
It's like bum 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 ba-da. Avengers are
It's just so good. Like, I adore that movie. Adore it. We saw it twice at the cinema.
Cried worse the second time.
I thought the first time I sobbed, but we saw it at midnight, so it was where crying a little bit loud was acceptable. People cheered, people clapped, people whooped. It was good. The second time we had to be a little bit more conserved because it was a few weeks later. Still cried more because I think I had to be silent. And then I thought, you know what, I'm going to watch it at home. It'll be better. It won't be as bad. It's my third time.
You fool.
I sobbed harder. Because I was at home, I could make any ugly crying noise I wanted. And it was embarrassing. I was on my own, thinking I'd be better. As soon as Chris Evans as Captain America, you realise it's him, spoiler, holding the hammer. I'm done. I'm just done.
Oh, the cheer in the cinema at that moment.
And then when he said Avengers Assemble as well.
It's just, he says the word Avengers and you just hear the pause.
Because you've been waiting. Because they tease it so much through the other films. They just tease it.
It's like, Avengers.
Avengers.
He said it!
There was a big cheer at the cinema.
Yep.
Yes! And you could tell, like, because, like, my husband and my sister came with us. Two of my sisters did, and we went. There was me, you, and Maddie, my younger sister, properly into it, sobbing. And you could tell they were into it, but not as much. Because when everyone whooped, they were a bit like, what? Like, oh,
don't you understand?
This is happening. This is happening. You can tell the difference between the Marvel fan and the I bleed Marvel.
Yeah. It's proof that not everything good about him came from a bottle. Iron Man. And then it's proof that Iron Man can make the sacrifice play. The real hero was the rat.
So now we're going on to music of this decade. That's like little
sing anymore.
Notable music. A lot not great, if I'm honest. And music trends that happened because they weren't great.
Yeah, there's one or two like standout artists that were great.
Yeah, but like on the 3rd in March 2011, Rebecca Black's Friday was released. Now, I felt bad for this 13-year-old girl. It was just her mum bought her, for her birthday, she could go into go to a studio, create a song, and then with some friends create a music video.
Yeah.
It then was put on YouTube, and it went viral, and this girl was getting death threats.
Yeah, it went viral for all the wrong reasons.
Yeah, and, but then Glee covered it, and I think that meant she was cool.
Yeah. And then in July 2012, we had Gangnam Style, and I do recall a certain video of somebody's certain father doing Gangnam Style.
Yeah, he did.
Yeah, that was epic.
And then on the February 2013, you had the Harlem Shake, and that was obviously where it starts off with people being like statues, and then as soon as the beat drops, everyone like you got like
mental.
Or you've got like 3 people. And then the beat drops and you've got like hundreds of people doing some random dancing.
There is one that we missed off that I've just remembered. You got married in 2017, didn't you?
I did.
And you had your hen party in 2017.
Oh yeah.
2017, the mannequin challenge.
Yeah, we did it. We did the mannequin challenge through this whole. We had this massive barn, and there was 16 of us.
Yeah. And
we did the mannequin challenge, and then we had different positions. It was epic.
My eyes stung so much after that.
Not being able to breathe.
Yep.
April 2013, you also had everyone learning That Cup song from Pitch Perfect.
Yeah.
I was not one of them. I know the song, but not the cup bit.
Yeah, same here. And then in September 2013, everybody, including Cortana and a certain smart speaker that will not be mentioned in case she goes off, learned What Does the Fox Say?
He does not say meep. On the 19th of May 2017, you had the infamous Baby Shark debacle.
Oh, God, that song.
Mm-hmm.
And then in 2018, music was redeemed when the Greatest Showman soundtrack spent a whopping record-breaking 23 weeks at number 1, consecutively.
Almost half a year. And I think it was consecutive 23, and then I think it went back 2 weeks later and had a last week at number 1.
It smashed the record previously held by Adele.
Yep. And considering it took 7 years for a producer to decide that the film might be worth giving a go.
I mean, Rookie Era, guys, that film is amazing.
Isn't it?
And then on the 2nd of June 2012, there was a big moment when Adam Lambert, whom I love, is amazing, was the first gay man to be number 1 in the Billboard 200 charts.
For his album entitled
Trespassing.
Mm-hmm.
Which is a brilliant album. Absolutely brilliant. I've seen him live. He's, the man is, the pipes on that man.
Yeah, he's currently touring with Queen,
Yeah.
isn't he, as the new frontman.
Yeah.
Or not the new Freddie Mercury, because he's irreplaceable, but he's...
But close enough.
Yep. And then on the 12th of September 2014, if you had an Apple iPhone or iTunes, everyone's realised in the new iOS update that U2's album was downloaded onto your phone whether you wanted it or not.
Yeah, a lot of people kicked off about that. They were not happy.
No.
And then we had, throughout the whole decade, Ed Sheeran, little old Ed from Suffolk, was the best-selling artist of the decade.
Yep, he lives about 20 minutes down the road.
Good old Ed. I mean, he probably doesn't now.
No, he does.
Oh, he still
They
does?
retired, yeah. And he
Oh.
still, every year, he gives a load of his clothes away to the Oxfam shop where his parents own they run an Oxfam shop, and he
Yeah.
gives a load of his clothes to Oxfam.
Oh, bless him. He's a good lad, is our Ed.
He's all right. Yeah, and he's building his new mansion there, and there's a lot of people that have tried to go to the Suffolk Council to say that it's spoiling their views. Good old, country folk. Us down here in East Anglia, that's what we do.
So, keeping with the theme of music, haven't we got, like, the best-selling single?
singles of the years.
Okay.
So, in 2010, we had Kesha and TikTok.
In 2011, we had Adele with Rolling in the Deep.
2000...
That was my radio voice.
I know, we did radio voices. 2012 was Somebody That I Used to Know by...
Gautier and Kimbra.
Yes, thank you very much.
In 2013, it was Macklemore and Ryan Lewis with Thrift Shop.
And in 2014, Pharrell Williams, Happy.
You could not escape that song.
No.
In 2015, Bruno Mars and Mark Ronson joined forces for Uptown Funk.
And then in 2016, Ed Sheeran wrote a little song for Justin Bieber called Love Yourself.
And in 2017, Ed Sheeran back again with Shape of You.
2018 saw Drake with God's Plan.
Who Cannot Dance. And in 2019, Old Town Road with Lil Nas X and Billy Ray Cyrus. Absolutely love that song.
It is catchy, innit?
Yeah.
It's definitely catchy. So our penultimate category we have at the moment is certain discoveries that were made within. These are obviously only a few because there's been loads of scientific and technological discoveries that
And
have
actual
happened.
discoveries, things that have been found.
Yep, but there's been loads that are important, but we don't know about, like specific cells that have been discovered.
Mhm.
That not the same that we don't care about, but they're not wildly important or they don't make as much of a
Yeah, I mean,
impact.
they're important, but they weren't, like, globally advertised,
Yeah.
sort of thing. So, the first one, lost in 1485, found September 2012, Richard III in a car park in Leicester, and then it was confirmed to be his remains by the University of Leicester on the 4th of February 2013.
Yep, and there was like a massive television show about it here, and
Yeah.
certain Philippa Langley was an extremely excitable, slightly worryingly into the bones.
She was dedicated, let's put it that way. But she did some fantastic work, and as historians, thank you, Philippa Langley. And also thank you to Channel 4 for televising it and showing everything about it, and to Simon Barnaby for hosting that wonderful TV show. all
Simon
about
Barnaby.
it. Barnaby even. Sorry, Simon. Simon Barnaby, not Simon Barnaby. I am so sorry, Mr. Barnaby. I do apologise. I am sorry.
Okay, in 2012...
Shame. Shame.
In 2012, we had the Higgs boson particle was discovered.
Higgs boson.
Really?
Sorry.
From what you just did?
Sorry. In 2017, the researchers looking into the Dead Sea Scrolls found more Dead Sea Scrolls when they found a 12th cave.
Yep.
More Gospels that Catholicism is going to disavow. And then in 2012, there was a new species of hominid, or like humanoid, called the Homo naledi, which was basically a new human that was made up of modern human DNA mixed with ancient human DNA.
Okay, in 2019, there were some fossils found in the Philippines of a new hobbit human. So I'm thinking like a shorter human.
Yeah,
Like,
it was called Homo luzonensis.
there was no way on this earth I was going to say that word.
Yeah, it was found and very similar to Homo floresiensis, which has been nicknamed the Hobbit. So it's a pygmy human. And then in 2014, researchers discovered that the Maros caves on the island of Sulawesi, Indonesia, are 4 times older than it was first assumed.
Yep, and that was the pig elephant.
Yeah, the pig,
doll.
the pig deer. Yeah, there was a painting found in it, and it's actually been called the pig deer because no one can quite tell whether it's a pig or a deer.
I wrote exactly what Carrie said about this, word for word.
Yeah, when I was quoting this to her. In 2014, fossils have showed that Spinosaurus was a semi-aquatic predator. Basically, a giant fuck-off crocodile the size of a double-decker bus.
Carrie's exact words, which also proved that Jurassic Park was right.
Yes, Jurassic Park was right about dinosaurs being descended from birds, right about the Spinosaurus being able to swim, which quite frankly is terrifying.
But we're alright. It's not like we live on a tiny island surrounded by water.
Nope. And it's not like the dinosaurs have now escaped thanks to Jurassic World Fallen Kingdom. They could be anywhere.
In 2016, it was found that the Greenland shark can live for at least 272 years.
I mean,
Sharks
have longevity and they're immune to... Sorry, we know what's coming up next. Yeah, they've got longevity and they're immune to cancer. Sharks are amazing. Right.
And terrifying and eat people.
In 2019, it was discovered that the Visayan warty pigs use tools. We're only joking because we decided to change our friend's nickname on Facebook Messenger to Visayan warty pig off the back of this. We do love you really, Dave, but you are our Visayan warty pig because you're sweet and you're
like Pumbaa.
Yeah, like Pumbaa, and you can use tools.
Yep. In 2019, geologists discovered a new continent under the Pacific Ocean, and they named it Zealandia.
Because it was next to New Zealand. Between New Zealand and New Caledonia. That was it. I couldn't remember the name, I just blanked.
So, yeah.
Yeah, so we're almost at the end.
We are.
Almost.
This has been our longest podcast to date.
It has
but
indeed.
We're trying to get a whole decade into, some time, so it's going to take a while.
Yeah, it wasn't going to be easy, but hopefully you've bore with us. Warty pig, bore. Hey, sorry. Hopefully you bore with us, and I can sense the judgment. I don't even need to see your face. And hopefully you've learned some things and remembered some things. Some good, some bad.
Like we said before, if we've forgotten anything, we're sorry. But now we are going to talk about the people that we have lost in this decade. There has been quite a few, and especially with the celebrity culling of 2016.
It was sad. So we're gonna get some sad music in the background. This is
in memoriam.
Yeah,
of the decade, the 2010s.
There is no copyright on this music, but we will be putting the links in the Facebook on the app info just so that you can find out who it is. So hopefully this will be nice and sad.
In memoriam.
May 2016, Harambe, the gorilla.
There was an outpouring for him.
Yeah, it wasn't his fault.
Nope. On the 2nd of May 2011, Osama bin Laden.
Here we are not mourning, we're just pointing out.
Yes.
On the 20th of October 2011, Colonel Gaddafi.
Same reason as before.
On the 8th of April 2013, at the age of 87, Margaret Thatcher.
The 5th of October 2011, Steve Jobs.
The 11th of August 2014, Robin Williams.
27th of July 2011, Amy Winehouse.
On the 10th of January 2016, David Bowie.
30th of November 2011, Paul Walker.
On the 11th of February 2012, Whitney Houston.
18th of May 2017, Chris Cornell.
On the 13th of July 2013, Corey Monteith.
27th of February 2015, Leonard Nimoy.
On the 4th of March 2019, Luke Perry.
27th of the 12th, 16, Carrie Fisher.
25th of January 2017, Mary Tyler Moore.
28th of the 12th, 2016, Debbie Reynolds.
The 23rd of March 2011, Elizabeth Taylor.
25th of February 2017, Bill Paxton.
The 12th of August 2015, Lauren Bacall.
2nd of October 2017, Tom Petty.
On the 19th of June 2016, Anton Yelchin.
4th of September 2014, Joan Rivers.
The 6th of September 2018, Burt Reynolds.
25th of the 12th, 2016, George Michael.
The 16th of August 2018, Aretha Franklin.
2nd of February 2014, Philip Seymour Hoffman.
The 20th of July 2017, Chester Bennington.
6th of July 2019, Cameron Boyce.
On the 30th of January 2018, Mark Salling.
The 4th of May 2015, B.B. King.
The 3rd of September 2012, Michael Clark Duncan.
17th of May 2012, Donna Summers.
The 21st of November 2017, David Cassidy.
29th of the 8th 2016, Gene Wilder.
The 27th of September 2017, Hugh Hefner. Sorry, the music changed.
18th of March 2017, Chuck Berry.
The 14th of January 2016, Alan Rickman.
23rd of May 2017, Sir Roger Moore.
The 20th of January 2012, Etta James.
14th of December 2013, Peter O'Toole.
The 10th of February 2014, Shirley Temple.
24th of June 2014, Richard Attenborough.
The 20th of April 2018, Avicii.
23rd of March 2015, Lil Chris.
The 11th of February 2010, Alexander McQueen.
And the 14th of March 2018, Stephen Hawkins.
There's 3 more that we didn't mention. On the 21st of April 2016, Prince. On the 28th of December 2015, Lemmy from Motorhead. And the last one, I know we said there would be 3, but technically we've got another one. So in memoriam of John Hurt, incredible actor, the 25th of January 2017, and Stan Lee, Generalissimo himself, the 12th of November 2018.
Excelsior. That still really hurts.
Oh, so much. Stan, we love you 3000.
You go find a corner and you sit in it and think about what you have just done.
Okay. I'm sorry. To each and every one of them, thank you for the entertainment or other things that you did apart from the first few that we mentioned.
Yeah, notable deaths. They had to be mentioned.
Yeah.
Because they did change the decade.
They
Bin Laden dying and Gaddafi dying did change a
They
lot.
did. They did. So from the in memoriam deaths to the ridiculous death. I think we can segue nicely into that one.
Yep.
So we did say that we would start the decade off with a bang.
The Deathcade.
The Deathcade. Way. So we're going to talk about James II of Scotland.
There.
Now, James II, he wasn't a bad king, to be fair. He did some good stuff. He was quite a warrior, and he was really into modern artillery. He used that with a lot of success against the rebellious clan, the Black Douglases, and he wanted to increase Scotland's standing. So he decided he was going to besiege Roxburgh Castle in 1460, which was one of the last Scottish castles at the time held by the English after the Wars of Independence. He took a large number of cannons with him that he imported from Flanders. And one of them, his favourite one, was known as the Lion. People told him not to stand too close to it because cannons had sometimes a bad habit of backfiring and exploding.
Especially back then.
His exact words were, "The lion is not going to bite me. The Lion of Scotland is not going to bite me."
Idiot.
He stood next to the cannon. It was lit, and then it exploded. Yeah. It's recorded by Robert Lindsay of Piscotti, who, in the history of James's reign, said, "As the king stood near a piece of artillery, his thigh bone was dug in two with a piece of misframed gun that brake in shooting, by which he was stricken to the ground and died hastily."
Oh, God.
Yeah, he died of blood loss. Basically, it pretty much almost cleaved his thigh in two, this piece of gun, and he bled out. So, femoral artery, straight through. There was nothing could have stopped.
Well, at least it would have been quick.
Yeah, it would have been quick, but incredibly painful, as the lion that wouldn't bite him. Wouldn't bite him, bit him. Yeah.
That well done for ending our podcast like that, Carrie.
Yeah.
So, yeah.
It went off with a bang.
Pretty dim there.
You're not wrong. Sorry, couldn't resist. Yeah, that's our first one back.
Hey,
We've done it.
We've done
Woo!
it. We changed our 6-month slump, and we're going to be back to doing these more regularly.
Yeah.
We haven't quite decided whether it's going to be weekly or bi-weekly yet, but depending on, because obviously life and such.
Yeah. We're going to try and keep a record of everything that we do so we don't repeat ourselves, which would be good. But if you have any suggestions of podcasts that you want us to do, you can put it on our Facebook page, you can tweet us, you can Instagram us, you can leave us a little note on our Buzzsprout page, or on our blog, whatever you want. We're open.
Yeah, and we're quite good. All of our handles are at Cup of Histortea.
Yeah, basically. It's like history, but with tea. My laptop's just made a sound. No, your laptop's just made a sound.
My laptop just made a sound.
Technology. Yeah, so, we look forward to hearing from you. We hope you enjoyed this, and thank you for listening. We shall see you soon.
Take care.
Bye-bye.